Welcome back. Welcome to the second part of the program. And before we go into the details of what we are going to do, what is going to be different in the second part, so let's take a quick look at what we have achieved so far in the first part. So now we are going to start with some statistics. So first off, we did around 40 sessions and we had 12 lecture sessions, 2 problem-solving sessions in which you guys came out to the whiteboard, introduce yourself, explain the problem, go over your approach, and finally do the walk over on your solution code. And we had 2 learning how to approach sessions in which we focused on solving a problem end to end. From the beginning, the first moment we read the problem, developing a solution by using your paper or the whiteboard, and finally implementing our solution. So the second session especially, we didn't do a great job, especially in the sense that we didn't test our codes very well. So we had a couple not accepted submissions in the first place, but I think it was a good lesson for us as well. Like what we do in those sessions should represent what we are supposed to do in the real contest environment. So moving forward, we are going to spend more time in testing in those learning how to approach sessions as well. And we have competed in 5 different contests. And we finalized, like we basically did over 80 one-on-ones. So up to this point, thank you very much for your effort and collaboration. And I think our first part was successful. So now let's take a look at some cumulative results. Like we solved around 2,108 problems cumulatively, all of us. This is the number of uploads that we made to GitHub as a team. And once you think about it, like it was something that none of us can achieve personally in such short amount of time. But once we accumulate all the effort that comes from everybody, we can achieve such big results. And it actually means over 60 problems per person. And usually they recommend solving between 100 to 300 problems before getting ready for the interviews. So it means our accomplishment is right now somewhere between 60% to 20%. So I would rather aim for the better preparation and set our number by 300. So in that case, we can say we completed our 20% progress for the whole program. And in the second part, we need to achieve 4 times what we had achieved so far. And in our first contest, if you remember, we had only a few people who were able to solve the first problem. And we didn't have anybody who solved 2 problems or 3 problems. But in our last contest, everybody attended the contest, they solved at least 1 problem. We had some 2 problem solvers, some 3 problem solvers. So even by these contest results, we can see what kind of improvement we are having in such a short amount of time. Like it hasn't been that long. We started by the 2nd week of November, right? So, like, and if you also include the vacation, like, the total time that we dedicated, it's around 1.5 months. It's not that much at all. And we have almost the same amount of time that is left before the interviews. So, in terms of time, this is marking our 50%, but in terms of effort and the results we are going to get, we are around at 20%. So I would love to set expectations correctly so that we know what we are going into in the second part of the program. So let's take a look at the first problem of the first contest, which most of us struggled with finding a solution. Oh, by the way, why didn't you tell me that the slides are not on? I was under the impression that you guys are seeing everything I was saying. Okay. All right, so the first problem of the first contest was beautiful strings. And in this problem, they had a definition of beauty for strings. If 2 consecutive characters are equal to each other, that string is not beautiful. Like any 2 consecutive characters are equal to each other, that string is not beautiful. Otherwise, it is beautiful. So if you take a look at these examples like AB, AB, CB, this is a beautiful string. But if it is like AAA, then it's not a beautiful string. So we struggled solving this problem. When we had our first contest, it was after a couple lectures, I think. But now, I'm pretty sure this is going to be very trivial to everybody. Like after solving this problem, maybe in like 20 minutes, you would be looking for the next problem. So this is what we achieved so far. But what we want to achieve is we should be able to treat the same way for the first 3 problems of Div 2 in code forces. So whenever you see the problem, it's going to feel trivial, and then in 5 to 10 minutes, you're going to find the solution and then start implementation for all of them. Like each 5 to 10 minutes solving time. So, the topics that we have covered in the first half. We started with the basics, like types, loops, functions. What is an algorithm? And then we integrated with 3 different platforms: Codeforces, LeetCode, and GitHub. We are using Codeforces mostly for contests, LeetCode for practicing, and GitHub for uploading our codes. And then we dive into sorting algorithms, and we covered insertion sort, selection sort, quick sort, merge sort, counting sort, and radix sort. We also evaluated them in terms of performance, memory usage, whether they are stable or not. After that, we continued with basic data structures: arrays, dynamic arrays, stacks, queues, trees, heaps. Then we covered recursion, and we solved a lot of problems about recursion so that we feel comfortable using it when it is handy. And in the last 2 weeks, we were covering binary search and numerics. So, like, we have a good list. But again, this is not all. And the topics that we are going to cover in the second half of the program is starting with hashing. And then we will take a look at graph traversal algorithms, breadth first search and depth first search. And then we will go over topological sort, tries, greedy approach, and dynamic programming. And finally, before the interviews, we will also cover medium level graph algorithms, shortest path, all shortest path, and minimum spanning tree. So at that point, we will cover, I would say, like 95% of the tools that you're gonna need in any kind of interview environment. In very extreme cases, they might ask questions from these advanced graph algorithms or advanced data structures, but like personally, I had never experienced that, except one interview with Palantir. And probably like I was on site, I had maybe at least like 10 on-site interviews. So meaning, once we get to this point, our coverage will be good enough for performing well in the summer internship interviews. And after we get the interviews in the first 2 weeks of March, we will cover these advanced data structures, range minimum query and binary index tree, as well as advanced graph algorithms, max flow, min-cut, and bipartite matching. So, the second part of the program, we will start with answering question why. So it's important to remember our objective. Our aim is to get an internship at Silicon Valley this summer. Okay? So the program, it's going to be useful in the long run, no matter whether we achieve our objective or not, but this is our objective. And it's not just for one person, it's not just for 5 people, it is our objective for every member of this team. Why? Why do we want this? Because there are some benefits that we get by this summer internship opportunity. First off, the experience that you are going to get there. Like these companies, they are building stuff that is used everywhere. We are using it every day. Those technologies enable them to know more than we know about ourselves. Like if you ask me what websites I visited how frequently in the last year, I don't have an answer. I can have a guess, which might be close to reality, but if we check the records of Google Chrome, we are going to see it directly. And I'm pretty sure it's not just the case for me, it's the case for many of us. Or like these phones, they use our locations. If you ask me where I was like 5 months ago, again, I can have a good guess, but they have the real data. So, building such technologies that are used by everybody, this is not an easy task. If it was easy, then we would have these companies everywhere. So, we should respect what they do and understand why they are successful. Because there are things that they are doing better than their competitors. That's why they achieve these results. So, the experience you're going to get is the most important thing in my opinion. Because you are going to be working with the smartest people, the most ambitious people from all around the world, which have the same objective, which have the same curiosity as you do, and which at some point in their life put this effort and studied hard to get better at problem solving. So the second benefit of this is the label. When I go somewhere, now I introduce myself as ex-Googler or ex-Liftoff or ex-Palantir employee. So when I do that, the doors open for me. Because everybody knows Google. Maybe Palantir and Liftoff, they are not as famous, but everybody knows Google. So if I didn't have these credentials when I come to here and talk with Mr. Natnael, it wasn't going to be easy to have this opportunity. Basically to have access to teach the smartest software engineering students of the best university in 100 million population country. This is definitely not an easy opportunity to get, and the reason I was able to get this was my label. So, moving forward, if you have an internship at a well-known Silicon Valley company, then that is going to be your label. It's not going to be Addis Ababa University graduate or Addis Ababa University X-year student anymore. I'm not saying to discredit Addis Ababa University, don't get me wrong. In my opinion, Addis Ababa University is one of the most underrated universities in the world right now, because it has access to talent like you guys. But unfortunately, it doesn't have reputation, so if you just apply somewhere with your title, that's not going to be enough to sometimes even get the interview. And one of our objectives is to change it in the long run. Like with the help of your guys' success in this program, this university is going to be more well-known in Silicon Valley. And next year when the new generation is applying for summer internship, they wouldn't need our personal reference. Because of your reference, they are going to give them the internship opportunity. Sorry, internship interview. At the end of the day, again, it's going to be on you guys, right? If you perform in the interviews, then you're going to get the internship. So, label is important, and this is going to change your label for sure. Third, money. Like we will see in this video, like these companies are paying on average like $7,000 per month. And you guys are going to be there for internship only 3 months, meaning you are going to be in the lowest bracket for the income. And you're going to be paying very little tax. Plus, they also give you some housing subsidy and stuff. Like on average, let's say you also decide to party, you know, hang out with other people and stuff, you are going to be at least saving 4K per month. 4K per month, 3 months, so you're going to be coming back to Ethiopia with 12K in your pocket. So, I guess it's not going to feel like poor student anymore, right? I'm pretty sure you can do a lot with that money. And you are free to do whatever you want. The fourth benefit, connections. In the business world, everything works with connections. Do you guys know what is the real benefit of the business classes? Like, you know, people do MBA, right? Masters in Business Administration, like 2 years program. What do you guys think that they are teaching there? The most valuable thing that they are teaching there? Like basically they are doing team building over there. They basically teach people how to work with each other. So they collect 150 smart people. They make them do some activities together. They make them work on some projects together. And these people get to know each other. And in the end, they have great connections with each other. And they help each other. Because once they start working in the business life, you are going to need something that you don't have that information readily available in your mind. Or you have no expertise or skill on that area. So what are you going to do? You are going to give a call to your friend, right? And if that person cares about you, you're going to get your things done. But if that person doesn't care about you, things are going to be harder for you. So, the connections you're going to make there is going to open even better doors in the long run, you know? So, that's another benefit I see in such internship opportunity. And finally, the fifth benefit I see in such opportunity is mindset. Like, you are going to see mindset of different people over there. So, in the context of this course so far, I was trying to show you my perspective. But everybody looks at things from different perspectives. And none of them is superior to each other unless they have expertise in that thing. So that's why I want you to observe, I want you to experience that mindset by yourself. You know, like you're going to go there, you're going to interact with many people that are coming from different backgrounds, but they also share some values. Like you are going to see multiple ways of doing the same thing, right? It's going to make you more open-minded. You're going to see that those people usually have growth mindset. They apply growth mindset in many different areas, and you will be like, okay, so maybe I can do the same thing. I have growth mindset in this, and that, but I have fixed mindset on all the other things. Maybe I can improve myself by having growth mindset on these things as well. These are the benefits that you can get by internship in Silicon Valley. So, Now I want to show you a little bit of this video.
What's poppin'? So today we are going to talk about internships. Yes, we talk about this all the time, but I love talking about it. So today we are going to talk about what are the top 10 software engineering internships you can get. Now, top internship is really subjective. You know, some people like, for example, Apple over Google, some people like Google over Apple, so you don't really know. It's kind of subjective. And also there's a lot of things to consider, like salary, benefits, prestige. You know, some people it's all about the respect.
Japan is all about the respect.
And then how much you'll learn, and then also the team, and also the technology that they use. Some people care about that, some people don't, so, you know. So it's kind of hard to consolidate all these together and come up with a good answer. Until now. So there's this guy in Waterloo that scraped LinkedIn. You know, scraped the whole website, looked at all you Waterloo students, and basically what he did is he looked at every single student and their history of internships that they did. Now, Waterloo makes you do 6 internships. So basically, he made an assumption that your last internship is better than your before last internship. So for example, if their first internship was Google, and then their next internship was Apple, he would deem Apple better than Google. Now that's just one person, so he did that with everyone. You know, he did that with every single U Waterloo kid, and basically gave an ELO score to every one of these companies. So now I'm just gonna use this website and I'm going to sort it by this ELO score. Before I go into the top 10, let me just show you what this site is all about. I think the site is kind of down now, and I kind of just kept a copy for myself. So here's what it looks like. As you can see, every row is a person. So if you search Citadel, you know, you see that this guy went to Clearbridge Associate, then TD Securities, then Citadel. So that means Citadel would be better than all these companies. And then Code Connect would be better than Citadel. Oh, that's me. That's actually me. I guess the data wasn't very updated. I could clearly say that Citadel is better than Scotiabank, by far. Anyway, so this is what it looks like. And then when you aggregate all of this, you get this with ELO. I don't know why we can't sort. I mean, usually you can sort, but I think it's because the person they probably didn't scrape the JavaScript, so I have like an old version. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna copy all that, and like, as a true data scientist, I'm just gonna use Excel. You know, I was thinking like maybe parsing it or something, but screw that, I'm just gonna use Excel, because it seems like it's well formatted, so. All right, company name, copy. Open up Excel, and voila. Okay, cool. And then put a filter here, filter, and then sort, descending. So I'm not gonna tell you which company is first yet, so I'm gonna blur it out here. I'm just gonna blur the top 10, and as you can see, okay, maybe I'll start from the bottom, you know, so you guys, no spoilers. So, you know, for example, EA is ranked number 24. You got Square number 22, and then Bloomberg 21. You could see it's sorted by their ELO score. Yeah, and then, okay, I'm gonna blur out the top. Ooh, the top 10 makes a lot of sense. All right, let's start. Number 10, we have Microsoft. You still working for Microsoft?
So, you still working for Microsoft?
So yeah, Microsoft is still pretty good then, you know, as not bad. Not gonna lie, Microsoft is a pretty good company. It's just that for me, or for some of my friends, we just like to joke around that Microsoft is like a company, it's like a low tier company, but it's not. Microsoft is a great company. The only reason we do that is because we had to make fun of one company, and Microsoft is so big such that if I make fun of them, they wouldn't care because I'm so small. But yeah, this is great because I'm able to talk about Microsoft. Okay, so Microsoft is known to have pretty easy interviews. I have done their interview for software engineering and for program manager. And I would like to say that their software engineering interview was pretty easy. I passed in one shot. So the software engineering interview is quite simple. For me at least, they came to Waterloo and I had 2 interviews back to back, and then after those 2 interviews, they'll say you get the internship or not. So the first question I got was a little bit of a design question with like databases or like infrastructure. Basically what they're saying is that, you know, if you send a certain message to a certain server and they have to send it back and stuff like that, but what if like those messages get lost, what would you do for fault tolerance and stuff like that? So a little bit of a design question. And then the second question is super easy linked list question. It's stuff like, can you find out if the linked list has a loop or something like that? And then is there another way you can do it? I'm not gonna go over details, but basically it's 2 questions. All right, second thing I wanna talk about is the salary. For me, I think the salary for me was like $7,000 a month, and then you get sick housing. Actually, housing is kind of a gamble. Sometimes you might get better housing, sometimes not, because they just put interns everywhere. For me, I was able to go into like a hotel. I think it was like the Hyatt Hotel. And it was pretty dope because you got maid service every single day. So yeah, so the benefits were pretty good. All right, let me double check the salary real quick. Microsoft, yeah. So Microsoft is $7.2 thousand per month. And then they give you $1.3 thousand for housing, or you choose their corporate housing. Obviously choose the corporate housing because it's way better. But yeah, $7.2 thousand, that's not bad, that's not bad. Yeah, I'll show you at the end the list, like the salary list and later on, but I don't wanna, you gotta stay through this whole video to check it out. All right, cool, on to the next one. On the list, number 9, it is Yelp. I had an interview with Yelp for software engineering, and their interview, I would rate it a bit harder than Microsoft. You know, I passed in one shot too, but they had a lot of interviews. Okay, I think on-site, I had 2 on-site interviews and then 2 phone interviews later to confirm that I wasn't, you know, just lucky. And very standard interview questions, and then they also look at your projects a little bit. So I think what I showed them is I showed them a project that you could sync watching YouTube together. They were pretty impressed by that. And then a lot of like normal questions, normal like algorithm questions that you would get on LeetCode. So then the phone screen is also just coding. You know, you go on CodePad, they ask you a question, and then you code it. So I think their interview process is a little bit harder, and they don't accept like that many people. All right, let's talk about the salary. So Yelp is $7.6 thousand per month, plus $1.5 thousand for housing, if you don't do corporate housing. That is pretty good. I think Yelp is usually higher than like Google and Microsoft because they're a little bit smaller, so they have to stay competitive by giving you more money. So yeah, so the salary is pretty damn good. And then prestige, yeah, I think Yelp is pretty much mid-tier. Like, okay, honestly, don't take my words for granted, but I'm just like comparing to all the next ones that we're gonna see. But Yelp is like not like super high tier, but it's also not like super low tier. It's kind of like with Microsoft, same level as Microsoft in terms of like prestige and in terms of how much respect you're gonna get. Next company is Pinterest. To be honest, I don't know why this isn't higher. It might be just variance, to be honest, because there aren't that many people that got into Pinterest, because the total number of students that got there, or like at least scraped it, was only 7. I do think that Pinterest is pretty high up there, because I heard from a lot of people Pinterest is like one of the smartest companies. Like every time you go to Pinterest, people say like, wow, I've worked with like the smartest people. So yeah, I think Pinterest should be a little bit higher up. It might be just variance, like I said. Okay, let's check Pinterest. Ooh. So how hard is the interview? I don't know. I actually don't have because I've never interviewed with Pinterest, so I wouldn't know. So I can't tell you that. Okay, and then how good the salary is. Ooh. All right, you ready? The salary is $9,000 a month, and then $3,000 for housing. So that makes it like $12,000 a month. Isn't that crazy? So yeah, so definitely because of the salary, people do want to work at Pinterest. All right, next company I have here, Infusion. I'm actually not familiar with this company. Let me Google it real quick. Or maybe it is a really good company, I don't know. But I don't have, I mean, if you guys know, please comment below if you know Infusion and what their reputation is. But I don't quite know, because there's a lot of other good companies that didn't make the list. I'll give you some spoilers. Amazon did not make the top 10. LinkedIn did not make the top 10. Square did not make the top 10. But they're all super good companies. It's possible that a lot of smart people, they got into these companies and then they just got bored, so they want to work for startups, and then it'll decrease their ELO. That's just how it works. But yeah, all right. Company number 6. Ooh, speaking of Amazon, I wonder if you can guess which one this is. So company number 6, it is A9.com. So in case you guys don't know what A9.com is, subsidiary of Amazon. A9, I think it's more like the research focused part, the more data driven part. So I think they do like a lot of the search functionality of Amazon and all the hard stuff, the hard problems. So I had an interview with A9, actually twice actually, and I got rejected twice. So the first time, yeah, not gonna lie, I think it was pretty hard. I don't remember what the question was, but I think it was related to dynamic programming, and I think it took me some time to write it. And then they also have like a design question. I think it's like something related to like either horizontally scaling or vertically scaling. I think it was like a distributed question, but basically I didn't do so well. And then the second time I got the same interviewer, and I think I did well because like it was the same question, but they still didn't take me. So I think it's because I was being a dick. I was like, yeah, I was there before, yeah, whatever, you know. I think they just didn't like me. So how good is the salary? Let me check. Oh, well then again, I wouldn't know because I didn't get the job. So, but let's look at Amazon. So Amazon give you $7.6 thousand a month and $2.5 thousand. So that's pretty average. So I guess it's average salary. I don't think it would be much different from Amazon. So I think that's a good estimate of what A9 interns would get, 7.6 thousand. Okay, and then in terms of prestige, it's kind of similar to like, it's like Yelp and it's like above Yelp and Microsoft, definitely below Pinterest. So I think that's the prestige level, especially in Waterloo. Like it's pretty good, but it's not like whoa. Oh, number 5. Google, classic Google. I mean, everyone loves to work at Google. A lot of like really smart people can get to Google early on, but they also like to come back to Google at the end because the company is so big, you could choose which team to go in. Some people like to work for this very specific team at Google. Some people, sometimes if you're not like super great at programming or you're not like a prodigy, but you can still get to Google because they're so big such that they accept a lot of interns. So prestige level, I would say pretty high, you know, but nowadays it's getting more and more easy to get into Google, and so I think that's why their value is decreasing in terms of like Waterloo internships. So the interview varies a lot, so it really depends who your interviewer is. I personally never got into Google. I did a few interviews. I choked. Not a lot of like dynamic programming questions or anything. Some of them can be simple. I heard some of them can be hard. It really depends. So a lot of variance there. Now the salary is pretty shit to be honest. I think the reason they can do that is because everyone loves Google. So they pay you $6.6 thousand per month, and then maybe $3,000 for housing per month. So that makes it maybe $9.6 thousand. But yeah, their base salary isn't that great because it's only $6.6 thousand. So yeah, and then my friends who worked at Google, they said it was pretty chill. To be honest, they don't work you that hard, and even once you're full-time, if you don't want to, you could go in teams that don't work really hard. And but Google is really good to work there because later on, you know, you have a super comfortable life. Company number 4, Facebook. Oh, Facebook. So yeah, I've never worked as a software engineer at Facebook. Can I even say that? My friends who worked at Facebook said they loved it. You know, they have a great campus, beautiful campus, lots of prestige. Kind of, yeah, but it's getting bigger. And once a company gets bigger, obviously they lose prestige and stuff like that. But yeah, so the salary for Facebook interns for software engineering is $8,000 and $1,000 for housing. So in total, $9,000. I'm surprised actually. That's quite low for housing. And then Facebook is really good because when you come back as a returning intern, if you do really well, you get more stocks and like bonus and stuff like that. So on average, according to this chart, is like $107,000 salary. You get about $37.5 thousand of stocks per year, and then your bonus can vary from $75,000 to $100,000 in bonus. That means your first year, you just boom, $100,000 right in your bank account. So yeah, so that puts Facebook on number 4. And then number 3 is Twitter. All right, so Twitter is number 3. Twitter is ooh, surprisingly not that high in terms of salary. I'll talk about that later. How hard is the interview? I remember interviewing for Twitter, for software engineering or data science, I don't remember, and I had a phone screen. And with that phone screen, I failed. So I'm guessing Twitter's pretty hard, you know, because I failed the phone screen. But then again, you know, maybe I just suck. So, but according to other people, I think Twitter is also pretty average. I don't see a lot of people getting into Twitter, so I think Twitter is pretty difficult in terms of like the interview. Not super hard, but also not, you know, not super easy. But yeah, so that's how hard the interview is. So I can't really tell you anything about that. The phone screen that I had was a dynamic programming question that I screwed up. How good is the salary? The salary is pretty shit actually. It's $6,500 per month, and they give you $2,000 for housing, or maybe they have corporate housing. I'm not sure. Yeah, and then prestige. I think it's pretty up there. I mean, for some reason they're losing popularity nowadays. I mean, also this list is kind of old, but yeah, Twitter's losing popularity, so maybe not that much. All right, number 2. Okay, so I realized I've been doing this wrong. This should be number 1. So I started at number 10, but I realized my Excel sheet, it starts at 1, but then the first row of my Excel sheet, it says company name. So that means I included the header. But okay, so for the number 1 company, I would choose one company out of all of these. And then, yeah, so it's basically Joma's first company. All right, anyways, so number 2 company is Palantir Technologies. Oh, I think Palantir is actually the coolest company because I've tried so many times getting into Palantir and I still haven't gotten in yet. So the first time I had an interview was when I was freshman year actually. I got really lucky because like I talked to this guy and he just gave a talk about Palantir and he was from Montreal and I was like, oh, me too, I'm from Montreal. And then, you know, he was nice enough to give me an interview. And then I got the phone screen. The phone screen was actually pretty hard. It was, well, I don't know, at least I think it was pretty hard. It was like print a binary search tree in order or something like that, or like left to right. And then I was like, oh, easy, I wrote the recursion. And then he's like, all right, now do it without recursion. I'm like, nani? And then, yeah, so basically you had to, you know, you just had to make a stack, kind of like a recursion stack, but basically you just had to make a stack. You had to loop it in, and then you pop the stack until there's no more things to pop. You could search binary search tree in order traversal without recursion, and you'll find it. And that's exactly what I did. So it was a phone screen, right? And then what I did was I secretly Googled the answer and went to the Wikipedia page and saw the pseudocode. And then I just looked at it and said, oh wait, I think I understand. And I just wrote the code perfectly for them. Yeah, so that's that. And then that's how I got past it. But then after that, I went on site. And then the guy talked to me, he looked at my resume, he's like, how the fuck did this guy get in? And then he asked me like a design question. And yeah, I just screwed up because I didn't know anything back then. I was just a kid. So I didn't know anything about infrastructure. I only knew about algorithms. So yeah, so I got killed. Okay, it's not that great. So yeah, the salary is $7,500 per month, flat. That's it. And then you have to pay for your own housing and stuff like that. So it's not the best. I think this company has a lot of prestige, especially back then. Everyone was wearing these like dope ass black sweaters by Palantir, and everyone felt really cool working there. Not gonna lie, it was a little bit cultish according to some of my friends, but in a good way. So yeah, and I remember people telling me that their food was amazing. They have like salmon, you know, like a really nice grilled salmon. They have like really good chefs to make food. They have massages, you know, at their campus. So yeah, so they usually have things like forward deployed engineers and normal software engineers and stuff like that. Forward deployed is pretty cool because it means you get to travel and you get to talk with clients and then, you know, fix their shit or whatever. But yeah, it's a really cool company and makes you feel really badass because they're like gods with data. That's basically what Palantir is. Oh yeah, for those who don't know, Palantir Technology is basically like a data consulting company. Like, they don't say they're a consulting company, they say they're a technology company, but in the end, I think they're a consulting company. What they do is like they help the government like track down Osama bin Laden. They help like some government stuff to like track down diseases and stuff like that. They probably like do a lot of sketchy stuff that we don't know about because they're just really good with data. They help hospitals and stuff like that for processing and analyzing their data. What else? Something more interesting. Oh, they help a lot of hedge funds and banks do some financial stuff that we can't talk about because they're so secretive. All right, so number 1, according to my spreadsheet, it's company name. Yeah. All right, let me just look at the one that pays the most. I'll say that they're number 1. Okay, there's a lot. Wait, where's Jane Street? I don't know. No, Jane Street is not here. Wait. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so Jane Street should be here, but I guess it's not anymore. But you could kind of know where I'm going with this. Okay, anyways, I'll just choose this one. I don't really want to choose it because my brother worked there, and I don't want him to feel proud of him. Okay, fuck it. I'll just choose it. All right, so the number 1 company is 2 Sigma. For you guys who don't know, 2 Sigma is a hedge fund. It's a very quantitative-based hedge fund, meaning they use a lot of tech and they use a lot of numbers to kind of like decide on what stocks to trade or what commodities to trade and stuff like that. So they're known to be pretty techy. They don't like the finance kind of vibe or like finance culture. People are not like jocks there. People are like pretty cool. Like it basically looks like a typical tech company when I went there and visited. So the reason why I chose this is because the pretty high salary. It's $10.4 thousand a month, and then they give you $5,000 for relocation, and then they give you $5,000 per month for housing. What the fuck? Holy shit, that's crazy. That's more than how much I make as a full-time. Fuck. But yeah. And the bonuses, I heard they're crazy. Like once you work there full-time, bonuses are amazing. And yeah, you wouldn't believe it. So basically all of these finance companies should be here. In case you guys don't know, it's not fintech, because fintech means technology company that is about financial products, like they help you, manage your portfolio, blah, blah, blah. That's not it. They use tech so that they can grab a shit ton of data and then just make a lot of money in the stock market or whatever that they trade. So it's totally different than fintech technologies. Like you can't compare it to like Robinhood. It's not the same thing. But yeah, so 2 Sigma, Citadel, Jane Street, Susquehanna, SIQ. No, that's not Susquehanna. Renaissance Technology. Actually, we can't talk about Renaissance Technology because that's just at another level. So we don't understand what they do. But yeah, so all of these are really, really good hedge funds, and they probably pay the most compared to like other tech companies. So yeah. All right, so now let me talk about, So 2 Sigma, prestige, hella high. It's funny because it wasn't that high before. When my brother started, I remember me telling my friends like, oh, my brother works at 2 Sigma. They're like, what the fuck is that? I'm like, oh, it's a finance company. It's like, oh, finance? Is it a banker or something? Like, no, it's not a banker. It's a quantitative researcher. But anyways, 2 Sigma was not really popular, but nowadays, because of the emergence of all these finance companies, and then they realized like, holy shit, they pay a lot, it got the attention of the software engineers. So yeah, so now prestige, definitely high prestige. People love 2 Sigma. They think it's like the best thing since sliced bread. So yeah, pretty good. All right, and interview is probably super hard if it's the same or if it's similar to the full-time interview. A lot of probability questions, a lot of quantitative questions, a lot of statistics questions, a lot of brain teasers, lots of hard CS questions. I mean, I don't know. I never got an interview from them, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, that's what I heard. There were a lot of companies that did not make the top 10 list. Don't know why. Probably because we just don't have that much data. Like I said, this set is not super, super good because it's still kind of hacky. But let me tell you a few companies that I think deserves, to share the number 1 spot. One of them is Snapchat, of course. Come on, Snapchat is great. Snapchat is such a great company. It's also in LA, so that's pretty dope. They have a New York office too. They pay $10,000 a month, so I think Snapchat is really good. Quora is extremely hard to get in. Really smart people. They pay $8,300 a month. And then let's see, Twitch is super fun. You get to watch people play games all day, and then they pay you $7,400 a month. And then Airbnb is really good too. They pay $7,000 a month plus corporate housing, and they give you some Airbnb credit. Super cool, and they're dog friendly. One of my friends interned there, and he got to bring his dog every day. Let's see. Oh, Stripe is really good. Stripe is really good, $7,000 a month, plus corporate housing. Definitely a good company. It's about payments. Let's see. Dropbox, of course. Dropbox is really good. I'm surprised their salary is so low, $6,300 per month, plus $5,000 housing. Well, I guess the $5,000 housing is pretty good, or corporate housing, but I don't think any corporate housing would be $5,000. Maybe that's total, I'm not sure. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I think these companies are definitely really, really good. So if ever you have the opportunities to work there, definitely do it. And yeah, if ever you guys are, inundated by offers from all these companies and you find it really, really hard to choose, well, I'm going to link you guys the salary for all of these internships and also the site that gives you like the ELO. And then you could kind of compare and see which one's better than which. Well, so yeah, I hope that was interesting for you guys. I hope that was useful, and happy job hunting.
I guess we get enough of this. So I hope this video gave you a better picture of like what do they ask in the interviews, how much they pay, what kind of benefits they provide you in case you get accepted. So now let's get back to our slide. So,
The light coming.
yes. Yes.
In the video, he didn't say much about the Internships activity. Why don't you just give us
I guess it's because he didn't go through Google interviews by himself, or just he had to cover a lot of companies, that's why. Rather than that, I would say since it's a big company, in Google interviews sometimes you might see some hard problems, but sometimes you might see more trivial problems. Like basically the way it works is there is a huge pool of problems that the interviewers are allowed to choose from, and as problems get glassdoored or they become available to people on internet, then they get blacklisted. And so since there is a huge pool, like it really depends whether the person choose an easy problem or a difficult problem. But as far as at least when I left, they didn't ask any design questions to summer internship candidates. So I don't expect them to change that policy. Actually, like the general trend was asking less and less design questions to internship candidates. The reason is like software design is a skill that you build by working on real projects, big scale projects. So with a few years of industrial experience, it's a very easy skill to pick up. But at the same time, without that, it's really hard. So that's why like it's kind of random to evaluate people who are not knowledgeable or who don't have that skill. So that's why the companies are moving towards asking less and less design questions in summer internship interviews. So, some of the members that were part of the team in the first part, they are not going to be with us in the second part. Some of them, they had personal reasons. Some of them, we weren't quite happy with their performance. So I don't think any of them are here at the moment. And if they were here, we would gonna give them a chance to speak up and convince us if they still want to be part of the program. So we had some other members which we considered maybe we can leave them out, but they wanted to have a second chance. So that's why I'm not gonna mention about them. But moving forward, these people are not gonna be with us. And if you have any questions about it, you can ask me in person. Since they are not here, I don't want to talk behind them. Okay. So, things to improve on. Like basically in the second part of the program, if there is something that you want to improve as a skill in yourself, or if there is something that you want to work on, please write it down. Like this is a very personal thing, you know. I gave you one example from yesterday, and I'm gonna read more about what I'm gonna apply in the second part of the program now. So just give me a second. Let me find the right page. So, like basically I have 4 things that I want to improve on. The first one is writing every day. And the reason I would like to do this is to keep in touch with my life better, get better at writing, and keeping my loop closed. So currently I live my life a little too spontaneously. this has been fun in my 20s, but for my 30s, I need to step up my game. That's what I had written like 3 months ago. So after that, I didn't start doing this, but with the help of the second part of the program, I'm gonna start doing that. Like maybe I was writing every other day or something, but I wasn't doing it every day. And in the second half, I'm gonna do it every day. That's the first thing that I'm adding to myself. So the second one is, I want to evaluate my daily performance at the end of the day, every day. The reason I would like to do this is to close the gap between my reality and my perception of it. Like basically we understand what's going on once we take a look. Without taking a look, we don't measure. But once we take a look, we measure things. And once we measure things, we get the chance to improve on. Because if we are doing well, at the end of the day, seeing that is going to give us the motivation to do better the day after. And if we are not doing well, if we didn't use our time in a good way, then facing with this is going to again give us motivation to do better tomorrow. So that's why in any case, understanding what is reality, like taking a look and measuring, it is always beneficial. That's why I want to add this to my system. So this was something missing in my system. Like at the beginning of the day, I was writing down my objectives, what I want to do today, what I want to achieve, what's my main focus and so on. But I wasn't evaluating my performance regularly, every day. Maybe I was doing this evaluation weekly, but how much do you remember about what you had done 6 days ago? I guess not much, or at least in my case, I don't remember that much. So in my opinion, it would be better to do it every day. So this is going to be the second thing that I will be doing in the second part of the program. So the third one is planning what to do before. Once my energy drains out, I make poor choices on what to do. Additionally, set of actions I can get at a given time decreases as we get close to the time. Meaning, if we want to do something tonight, number of things that we can do is very limited. For example, we cannot have a trip to another place, right? We didn't book tickets and stuff. But if we are making a plans for 6 months later, there are a lot of things that we can do. We can even maybe organize a trip to Turkey and have a dinner in a good restaurant or something. So it's feasible because it's far, because we can plan ahead. But as the time gets closer and closer, number of options we have available, it decreases. So that's why, if you plan what to do before, you're gonna have more chance to make them real. Like without that, if you live every moment spontaneously, the number of options that are gonna be available at any given point is gonna be limited. Like obviously, as a result, you're gonna be covering a smaller area rather than, making a plan ahead and then also including some of the options which require a lot of planning before and make them your reality. So, like for planning thing, I would say I improved on that. So, like moving forward, I do more of planning, but still, it is something that I can get better at. So, not just short-term planning, but as well as long-term planning. In the second part of the program, I will be doing this regularly as well. So, as an actionable item, I write, make a weekly plan on Sunday. And this was the third one. And the fourth one is long-term learning. So I need to dedicate 1 hour every day to one thing that I want to learn in the long run, no matter what. That's the only way to reach mastery, I said in my notes. So what do I mean by long-term learning? So there are some skills that you can improve on in a very short amount of time. But there are some skills that is going to require a lot of time to get to the professional level. For example, if you want to play an instrument, like you can dedicate maybe 1 hour every day and in 1 month you can be a beginner. But if you want to be a very good musician, then you might have to dedicate that regular consistent hours maybe for at least like 3-4 years. Maybe even more. But here the real point is consistency. Because once you keep doing the same thing again and again, it is always fresh in your mind, so you can build up things on top. But if you take a long break, and then you come back and spend a lot of time, take another long break, spend a lot of time again, then most of the time you are spending is gonna go with the covering the first part that you had to come back because of the break. Like you can think of this as if you're standing, you're not standing in life. Like there is always a movement. If I'm putting some effort in this direction, like I am walking like this, right? I'm putting effort every day, so I'm making slow but steady progress. But let's say I am putting some effort one day and then 5 days I'm not doing anything. And one day, let's say I run. I came here and then 5 days I don't do anything. I go back slowly. And then one day again I run a lot. And then 5 days slowly I'm going back. I think you guys see the difference, right? So for long-term learning, consistency is super important. And that's the fourth thing that I want to add to my skill set in the second part of the program. So right now, I want you to take a moment, think about what you want to add to your life, because this is a personalized thing, right? Everybody has different challenges. And write it down. It has to be actionable. You should write why you want to add this to your life as well. And the last thing is the actionable item. Like for example, right now I can measure all of them. It says writing every day. If I'm writing every day or not, I can answer this question at the end of the day very easily, right? It's actionable or it's measurable. Second, I want to evaluate daily performance at the end of the day. Again, whether I evaluated my performance or not, it's measurable. So the items that you are adding, they have to be measurable as well. Okay? So please take your time and do that. Like let's have 5 minutes for this. Yes. How we were trying to develop our skills as individuals, meaning like everybody had their own trajectory. Like we were setting up some personal goals, and you were able to get back to the sheet, work on some old problems after a while, if you have a dance schedule or something. But in the second part of the program, this is not going to be like this anymore. So in the first half, we had enough chance to get to know each other. Like you guys saw me, I saw you, we get to know each other. And it's not just between you and me, also like between your classmates. You had the chance to get to know each other as well. So, moving forward, in the second half, we are not going to be individuals anymore. We are going to be a team. Only one team, and everybody is going to be responsible for the performance of everyone else in the team. The reason we are doing this is we know that there is a lot of power and synergy that comes through becoming together. Like, let's say first, let's consider the evolutionary point of view. What is the main reason behind the success of humanity? Why are we on top of the food chain? Are we the strongest? Definitely not. Are we the fastest? No. Are we the largest? No. Like if we evaluate things, different metrics like this, except our intelligence, we are not going to be superior to other animals in any of these metrics. Like we are not going to be number one. But we are smart. But what is the reason that we are smart? It is because of our collaboration. We collaborate with each other and then we become way more powerful than any other species. This is what evolutionary point of view says. How about religious point of view? Like why people actually perform better than all the others? What is the reason? Like is there any religion that is not promoting being together? I don't think so. Or at least the common ones, they all suggest you to get together to achieve great things. Because as individuals, we don't have all the skills. The world we are living in is so complicated. So from both approach, the power comes from collaborating. The power comes from being together. And that's what we need to achieve in the second half of the program. Because we have very limited time. We are starting countdown tomorrow. We don't have more than 45 days. So we need to raise up our level in a very short amount of time. And to achieve this, we need to help each other. We need to be together. So in the second half of the program, at the end of the day, we will finish that day. If there is something that you are struggling with, you can ask me, you can ask your teammates. And we are going to finish it on that day, and then we are going to move on to the next day. So there are basically like two different sections in the second part. The first part is during the final period. So in the final period, we have to come up with a plan. Like which days are the best to have lecture sessions as well as practices. And after that, we will have 1 day of vacation, and then we will start the camp. Because is there anyone in this class that don't really want to get this internship opportunity at the end of this 40-day? I don't think so, right? Everybody wants that. And to make sure that everybody is going to get to that point, what I'm asking is we should do our best. Personally, I assure you, I will try to do my best. And I want the same dedication from you. At the beginning of the program, this is what I asked. Like, I said 20% of this is on me, and 80% of this is on you. And for that 20%, I'm going to try to do my best. This is going to be my main focus. I will continue thinking, I will talk to other people, I will try to come up with new approaches, how we can make this better. And I want you to show the same dedication, not just for the sake of yourself, for the sake of the team. Guys, I want you to realize this. If this program becomes successful, there are many benefits that we can get. I'm not going to talk about the individual benefits. First off, the label of the Addis Ababa University is going to improve. Meaning, next year, once new generation is applying for summer internship, they'll get the at least interview. Second, you guys, like I had the chance to talk to you in person, you guys put humanity first. I think this is very important. This is not easy to find in the other places of the world, but this is what it is in Ethiopia. So, your value system is so good that I really want you guys to be in power in the long run. And if you get the summer internship, I assure you your trajectory is going to be affected in a very good way. So that's why if you know yourself and if you know your friends, please do your best so that you can be an example for your teammates with your, not just with your words, but at the same time with your performance. Meaning, in the second half of the program, whenever we see something that is not right, we are going to call it. If you see me wasting my time, if you see me doing something wrong, call me. If I see something that is distracting you, that is affecting your performance in a bad way, I'm going to call that too. So no hard feelings. Because let's keep our objective in mind, okay? We are working for this objective, right? That's why. Otherwise, I don't want to hurt any of you guys' feelings. But if there is something that we need to improve on, I'm going to call this. If I don't call this, I would do something bad to you by not calling it. So, I want the same for everybody to show the same perspective to everyone else. Okay? So, moving forward, we are going to work as a team. And finally, in the camp, it's not just going to be about problem solving or communication skills. Like basically we are going to do some activities for team bonding as well. And start thinking about this. What can we do? I'm going to need your feedback for that too. So, any questions up to this point? No questions? So everybody is happy to be part of this team? So do you guys really believe that we all are going to get the summer internship opportunity at the end of this program? I want to hear it.
Yes.
Yes.
I want to hear it. Come on.
Yes.
Okay. So, good luck and thank you very much. As always, we are going to finish with the quote of the day. What worries you, masters you. Like if you really want to get good at something, then you need to keep thinking about it, okay? This is very important. So if you have this in your mind, then you're going to do something about it. Once you do something about it, you're going to get better at that. So I don't care about your personal potentials. I don't care about your personal skills. What I really care is whether you reached your potential or not. And what I want is in the remaining 40 days, I want to see the best of you, okay? I want to see your 100% dedication in this program. So let's also think about what this is going to affect your other responsibilities in life. You guys are coming to the final period, right? So how many courses are you getting? Every one of you are getting 5 courses, right? So realistically speaking, let's say you screwed in these finals because of the competitive programming studies. What is going to happen? Your cumulative GPA is not going to be affected more than 0.1. It's not going to be affected more than 0.1. If you didn't get well prepared for these classes, you're going to get worse grades. But it's going to be evaluated with all the other courses you are taking. It's not just this semester. And who cares about whether your GPA, cumulative GPA at the end is 0.1 higher or lower. Let me tell you, only your current self, not your past self. If you talk to your past self, that guy is not going to give a shit about that. If you talk to your future self, if you are in my position after 10 years, again, you will realize that it has no value at all. Like, if you're not 3.01, 2.99, and like we basically choose you guys based on also your CGPAs, no one is at that range. It's not going to make any difference. I don't even know what was my CGPA when I was graduated. It was 3.6 something. Like maybe 62, maybe 64, maybe 65. Nobody asked me. No one is going to ask me again. So that's just a number, okay? And as I said, I'm not asking for you guys to sacrifice and dedicate your time for the rest of your college career. No. This is till February 15th. Not for too long, okay? So it's okay to get a little bit lower grades in the finals. But in the end, if we can get the summer internship, this is going to affect your trajectory a lot. And that's what we want, okay? Please keep this in your mind and approach things this way. Because if we do our best, I wholeheartedly believe, if we put our best effort, everybody can get summer internship opportunity. Maybe not this year, because there is also luck involved in this, you know? Like maybe your interviewer, he's gonna have a bad day, and then no matter what you do, he's gonna find some reason to not hire you. So it is possible. I cannot guarantee it. But at least I can tell that everybody is gonna reach to level to get that chance at the end of this program if you do your best, if you put your best effort. Okay? So we don't have much time. People are usually getting prepared for 6 months, sometimes 1 year. We don't have much time. That's why our pace is gonna be higher than other people. But in the end, we can do this. And we can do this only with your collaboration and efforts. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions,